Hello and welcome
to the BS podcast.
B for Belle,
S for Shaz. This is just two girls talking BS
and calling BS out
through our eyes.
Before we start, we'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which this podcast is recorded, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay our respects to the elders past, present, and emerging, and any First Nations people listening to this episode.
Today, we're in a completely different setting. For those of you who are watching online, you'll notice, hey, this looks a bit different. Where's our fireplace?
Yeah, totally. Well, this amazing setup is courtesy of Rachel, a friend of the podcast, and this space is at the Hive. It's an amazing co-working space, and I'm loving the decor. I am feeling it. This place is giving me calm.
Yes. You know what? I felt like our previous space, which I love, is very winter vibes. And as we're coming into summer, this is kind of cozy. We've got like the
grass.
Yeah,
bamboo.
That's
green.
it. Yeah.
Loving it.
Loving
the vibe today.
If only Melbourne understood that this was the vibe we want and not the rain.
Yeah. Well, Shaz, you have been jetting around. Tell us what's been happening in your life.
I have been. So have you. So I got to go for work on a trade mission, which is very exciting. We got to go to Singapore and Malaysia, met some really amazing talent, made some understood the ecosystem. There's just so many exciting things happening.
Yeah. And what area?
What sector? Oh, technology. And for us, because we work in digital health, it was digital health and digital health technology. I think there's just so many young people doing so many exciting things. And so, yeah, just to go there, feel inspired and go, oh, I've got something that you can learn from and you've got something I can learn from. We should connect. So, yeah, I've had a fantastic time.
Yeah, amazing. Well, Southeast Asia represent.
Yes, go us. But Belle, that was a trip. Now tell me about, I hear that you were on the Oscars.
Well, just slightly smaller than Oscars, but similar. The Oscars of Victoria women. Well, thank you for that. It's very exciting. So this week I have been inducted into the Victorian Honor Roll of Women. It's such an incredible, honestly, just a huge honor. And I'm still in disbelief. It's been just such a wonderful recognition for all the work that I have been doing in the community for international students, and to be recognized in a mainstream way is quite unique. And yeah, I really do treasure that. Thank you.
Well deserved. You are so incredible. And not just international students, just what you've done for people of color, that community that you've created. I think you've been an inspiration and a role model. So absolutely well deserved. And don't say it's less than the Oscars. It's so much more powerful.
Okay, maybe it's more than the Oscars.
Exactly.
We embrace that.
So today we have a bit of a juicy episode for you, in the sense that news around the world is bringing me down. All right. So we thought, you know what, we're going to switch tactics a little bit and actually go talk about something that's a modern day phenomena, modern day dating scene in Australia, and figure out how is love evolving around the world. And what does that mean for all us romantics out there? This has really been kind of inspired by Nobody Wants This. When I started watching this, I wasn't really expecting much, but now it has consumed me. So I must understand the modern dating scene. You tell me about.
Well, this is certainly a topic that has been really present in my life and my conversations with my friends. So I am looking forward to hearing from your perspective, as well as from our audience as well. And speaking of Nobody Wants This, it has really gone off. Lots of people are talking about the show. So I'm about 7 episodes in. I have to say, controversially, I'm not enjoying it as much as everyone else. I know. Well, for those who haven't seen it, it's a series starring Kristen Bell and Adam Brody. Love them both.
Yeah.
Two brilliant actors in their 40s. I love that it is representation.
Keep going.
They are Gen Xs. Can you believe it? Anyway, we claim them. Millennials claim them. The script is funny. It's charming. I did enjoy it as an easy watch, but my gripe with it is that it is unrealistic. It's different from my experience. Two people who just hit it off instantly, having amazing chemistry, and go on to have a healthy relationship. Well, I've not seen it. I've not experienced it. So,
Belle, I feel like you're projecting here.
ouch.
I have really loved this portrayal of Adam Brody. It's a secure, emotionally mature man. I am loving it. He's messy but unpredictable, and he just takes Kristen Bell and just says, I can handle all of this.
Oh my God. Okay, I love that scene, but I'm just like, this is like fairy tale.
You gotta manifest it. And on that note, like, this has definitely been the week of romance, because
Tell me more.
even our Prime Minister, Mr. Anthony Albanese, has bought a beachfront property for him and his fiancée, a casual 4.2 million that he dropped. Big deal. But I think it really added to that. Is this what love is?
I think this is your take when everyone is talking about the housing crisis and the cost of living crisis. I know that is on your mind as well, but I love this take about love. Well, are you saying that Anthony Albanese is the Australian Adam Brody?
I think I might be saying that.
Loving that take. But seriously, dating is just such a topic that is relevant to us, people in our late 20s and 30s, because dating and romantic relationships in this life stage for us looks so differently to our parents' generation.
100%. And especially with the dating apps, the social media, and also trying to prioritize your career, yourself, your friends. People are just juggling so much more. Gone are the days where you kind of meet someone at university and you kind of go, hey, and then just
That's kind of what happened to you.
that's exactly what happened to me.
We'll look back on this.
And now it's just, you've got to do so much more. I've spent so many hours with my girlfriends, like changing their Hinge profile, like getting the best picture, trying to flick your hair in the right way. Like, it's just so much more. And like, the conversation, thank God for ChatGPT, but like, how do you slide into someone's DMs? Like, getting the perfect line. It's just a lot more complicated and a lot more more labor, than expected.
Totally. And it is evidenced by this survey that Stanford Uni found. I know we are talking about a lighthearted topic, but researchers are going to research.
I know. Belle, you bring the brains and you bring the beauty, and she, of course, brings the graphs.
Love a graph. And love evidence to back up our personal real life experience. But well, this really just shows that in over the last 20 to 30 decades, the people who met online have just skyrocketed. People who met their partners online have grown from 2% to 39%, whereas people who meet through friends, like you said, at work, through family, etc., have all just gone down. People are not meeting in real life.
I have a conspiracy theory about this, but we'll talk about this after.
Okay. Well, so Shaz, the two of us are coming to this topic from two very different perspectives, and I think this makes a fun conversation. I'm a single gal at the right age of nearly 29. So to my parents' dismay.
19, girl. 19.
Oh God, no. And you are happily married.
I am. I'm not wearing my ring today, which is perhaps not the most appropriate for this. No, I am. I've been married for about 5 years.
Wow, time flies.
Time flies.
Oh my gosh, but you look 25. So
I was a teen bride. What can I say?
Oh, well, it's also worth mentioning as well that we both identify as straight in terms of sexual orientation. So the chat today, I know it's so boring. The chat today about our personal experience will be rather heteronormative.
There's obviously also a cultural component.
Yes.
I identify as Sri Lankan Tamil, and you, of course, identify as Malaysian Chinese.
Yes,
So
I am Malaysian Chinese.
you
I
think
don't
about it.
can change how I identify.
Hey, give it a couple more years. No, and so there is that added element of family expectations, gender roles, the dating experience of women, especially when I was growing up in Australia, definitely plays a component as well. And it's definitely warped how I see myself and how I like my self-esteem. So yeah, these are all important topics of discussion.
Yeah, it is part of our experience in dating, absolutely. And for me personally, my family is quite traditional. So with my personal choices of I would say being a bit more, without one of a better word, being a bit more selective. It does feel like a bit of a rebellious act. My parents have been on me to get a boyfriend and get married for, I'd say, about 7 years now.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And I think the people that they have picked out for me, I'm just like, don't you think I could do so much better?
You're like, Mom, don't you know my type?
No. Well, but what I have learned over the last couple of years is that I can create a life that I'm content with without a need for a partner. And for me, what I am looking for if I do meet someone is if they add value to my life. It just hasn't happened yet.
So preach, girl. Like your life is incredible. I can only like to invite someone in, I think is a sign of they have to add value. It's already so enriching. You enrich other people's lives. So
and I have amazing girlfriends and amazing projects like this podcast. Who has time?
And I think that's an important point, right? People are so much more career focused now. I was reading this study because
a researcher's gonna research.
That's what we do.
Scientists gonna science.
Exactly. That Sydney-siders are staying single so much longer than ever before, just because of that intense work culture. And added to that work culture is that hustle culture. It's no longer okay just to have a good job, 9 to 5, come home and do your thing. It's hustling. What are the other things that you can keep doing to boost your professional growth?
Yeah, totally. And I do see a bit of a divide as well in terms of women's and men's experience. Again, we're talking about kind of heterosexual relationships. There is undeniably a discrepancy for women. The feminist movements over the last decades meant that more and more women are becoming successful in our career pursuits, which is amazing. Here, and being financially independent. So I think the incentives for women to get married has shifted slightly, and what women's lives look like today is significantly different from, let's say, 50 years ago, for the better. But I personally don't think that men have caught up with us yet.
You know what? I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. I think there's been so much movement in the women's space that, access to education, access to workplaces. But for the men, it's just been the same and all of a sudden. So I definitely, men's roles in society or their perception of their role feels like it hasn't shifted.
True.
And what we see so much for role models of women who have amazing, incredible careers, like Julia Gillard, for example, to Martha Stewart, to like Michelle Obama. But for men, it's kind of a hit and miss. And look, there's some emerging role models, but again, it's sports. And let's not even talk about what happened with the AFL men's side this week. Like that's a whole new topic. But again, it's just, it feels like a lot of tension in this space of role models. And of course, Mr. Andrew Tate, the Tatester. Yeah. It's just incompatible with this idea of a more 50-50 relationship and the idea of like strong, independent women and more vulnerable men and like that emotional side of things. Yeah, I've definitely felt that.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. And I think that's why so many millennial women are embracing the Adam Brody character, because he is.
I'm embracing the Adam Brody character.
Absolutely. And it manifests in our lives as well, this discrepancy. Truth be told, I went on a date last night, a field trip. Am I right? That's my commitment to this podcast.
Can you explain what a field trip is? Because I still don't understand, and I just wanted to keep all the juicy details for the podcast.
Okay, fantastic. Well, look, I had fun usually when I go on a date because I like to think that I am fun, but it just hasn't really I just haven't really hit it off with anyone yet. The last 5 guys that I've met, I hadn't found, them to be really interesting or and it's not unique to me. It's happening to all my girlfriends who are single and being out there dating. And on the flip side, my guy friends who are also all wonderful had a much easier time finding and meeting partners who match their levels. To me, what I see in my personal life is that there are so many amazing women. I don't think there are as many amazing guys out there, amazing single guys who can handle women like that. And symptomatic of the issue, the guy I met last night is 36 and he said, I'm not looking for anything serious, just so you know. I was like, wait a second, wait again. How old are you?
36, and he said he's not looking for anything serious.
I know.
Does he plan on growing up anytime soon, or?
That was my question. Well,
and you know what? I think women, we're not even looking for amazing. Forget Adam Brody. I think we'll just take basic, decent. In saying that, I have met some really incredible guys, but they've all been partnered up.
That's so true. That is the case at the moment. And what I say to him is that, well, look, truthfully, Al Pacino just had his youngest child and he's 84. So you have 50 more years. And he was like, hell yeah.
But I love how you see the fun side of things. But this isn't just happening in Australia. I think in South Korea, there's been some major shifts as well, right?
Yeah. I've been reading up on all of these stories that's coming out of South Korea. And they've got this growing trend of Sampo Generation at the moment, which translates to giving up on the traditional milestones of life. I know it sounds depressing, but to me, it symbolizes hope. It symbolizes women wanting more for themselves.
Okay. That's a good pivot.
Yes. What we're seeing in Asia as well is where young women are choosing to prioritize their careers, personal development, and just saying, you know what, I'm good on my own, because I think that the society has not kept up with women's ambitions, and they're expecting young women to still fulfill the traditional roles. And for women, they're just like,
it's not just fulfill the traditional roles, it's do that on top of having professional.
That's right.
And it's just like, how many hours in a day do you have? Like, if we're not going to share the load, we can't thrive together. Absolutely.
Totally. So I think there's some pushing back there.
Yeah. And that's wild. And it's not just South Korea. In Japan, there's something similar, but on the men's side.
Oh, tell me more.
And they're called herbivore men. And you're like, doesn't that sound like vegetarian men? But no, it's men that are choosing to completely opt out of dating and marriage altogether. This is just, I think, a fancier word for incels.
Oh no.
Which is terrible. But I think it again speaks to this idea of like the global dating culture. It's shifting away from the pressures of being in a relationship, focusing on more independence. But for the men and women, there are definitely gendered differences here.
Yeah, well, I don't want to be seen as kind of slagging off men as well. Like what you say there, I do sympathize with a lot of men, as you say, with the online dating culture. I think what has emerged is that maybe the 10% of men who are popular among women are getting all of the attention. And there are a whole lot of 90% of men who may not compete as well on online dating platforms that are, getting so kind of like disappointed by where they're at. And like you say, they perhaps like slip into the early trends of becoming incels. And incels are the
involuntary celibate people.
Yes.
This is where my conspiracy theory happens, and
I love your conspiracy theory.
Right. I think dating apps have fundamentally changed love in a way that is very tick boxy, and I think people want that data and they want it's like being a subscriber. They want people to come back. So the whole intention of matching is not actually to take people off the app, but rather keep people on the app.
I love that.
So I genuinely think that.
No, I don't love that, but I love your take as a tech girl.
That it made me think that, like, oh my God, the whole point of Tinder, Bumble, all of these
so true
is to make sure that users flick and users swipe and users do whatever, but they keep coming back, that you're wedded to this app.
Yeah.
And I think like that graph that you talked about where people only now use apps because the intention is direct. Like if I think I was talking to people, a couple of girlfriends, and they're like, if someone came to you at the bar, they would love that, but also it would be so strange because it hasn't happened in so long that they would not even know how to interact. Whereas if it's a dating app, it's quite direct. I like you. I want this.
That's so true. Well, so Shaz, as someone who has cracked the code, give me some tips.
Oh.
How do we navigate modern dating?
Girl, I'm not sure if I have any wisdom. I did see Love is Blind. Okay. And I think there is this whole slow dating concept that's happening where people are just kind of going back to the basics. It has nothing to do with like how you look, what you're looking for in life, but like, what are your fundamental values? Do we vibe? Is there friendship? And I think people don't talk about that enough, that what is, do we have a connection before moving to the next step, which is the first date?
The organic getting to know one another without coming with a checklist of how do you look, what job do you have, etc.
Yeah, because there's sometimes, you know, you see a friend, a couple of years later, you're like, hey, the curls on his head.
Noticed before that.
Doing it for me. And I think like sometimes dating can feel a bit like a sport, right? Like people are so quick to jump in and out, and like someone says something, gives you the ick, and you're so ready to move on.
That's so true. That episode, by the way, on Icks is so funny. People, please do go and watch it. Yeah, people are so quick to jump in and out. It really is like speed dating in real life, 24/7. Yeah, that's just dating these days.
And I think the rules have changed. I live in Brunswick, so like I don't even think monogamy is a thing anymore in Brunswick. It's really about like polyamory, your nesting partner, your primary partner. Nesting partner is someone that
okay.
I'll give you the details. We'll have a graph.
Take me for a tour in Brunswick.
And there's casual dating, and it's just, you know what, choosing to be single. And there's also more of the situationships that happen. It's this weird in between where you're clearly doing all the things that a girlfriend and a boyfriend would be doing, but you're 36 and you don't want to label it.
That's so true. And that you're not the only person that I'm doing the boyfriend thing with.
Who's the time and the money for this? Look, cost of living is hitting.
That's so true. Who can afford situationship? The bane of modern dating. It's like everyone is afraid to define what they are, but still want the perks of a relationship. What's your take on those? Just a quick sidebar.
Ooh, you know what? I think it's fine if that's what people want, because, you know, you're like, I have something with you, but I want to explore. But I just think people need to communicate more, or because every time I talk to my girlfriends, they're like, I want this to be something, but I also want to. It reminds me of Gone Girl, that scene where she's like, I've got to be the cool girl, the one that's carefree and relaxed.
Yes.
So I need to be on top of it. And
so
it just,
true.
So many layers of masking when the world is like already crushing in general. Like, guys, say what you want, do it. Let's go for it.
I love that. Love that principle. Totally. It does feel like we're in a giant shopping mall for relationships.
I love that analogy.
Well, look, whether you are Albanese with your beachfront property or you're figuring out your own path in dating like Belle right here, there is no one right way to do it anymore.
Absolutely not. And we've covered a lot. We've talked about Australia, South Korea, a bit of Japan and beyond. And so now it's really, we want to hear your dating stories. Send us a DM. Tell us the wildest thing that you've ever experienced in the modern dating world. Have you been on a field trip with a 36-year-old?
Who's not looking for anything.
Slide us a DM, leave us a comment. We really want to hear about it. As a married person, this is what keeps me going.
Literally, just living vicariously through all of my terrible and wild and crazy stories.
Love it.
Well, and bit of advice if you're in a situationship, at least make sure you get some benefits out of it. All right. Our next segment is Breaking Stereotypes, where we both bring to the table two people who have broken stereotypes. Shaz, kick us off.
All right. All this talk about dating just reminded me when I was young and I would flick through the Dolly magazine.
A throwback.
Yeah.
That was before my time.
Ouch.
Before my time in Australia. Sorry.
So there was this magazine, and in the middle of it, you could rip a little piece of it, and it would be called Dolly Doctor. And so people could write in stories and be like, oh, you know, it'd be talking about puberty, talk about dating, it'd be talking about body image, but it was always like this secretive thing. And so as a young girl, before going on the internet to, you know, learn about all these things,
that's how you get the information.
That's how you get the information.
Right.
And it's just like, who responded to all these comments?
Yeah.
And it turns out,
who actually is Dolly Doctor?
Yeah. Turns out it's Associate Professor Melissa Kang, and she has been the person that has been doing Dolly Doctor for 23 years.
I'm so glad that it's someone who actually has qualifications
Absolutely.
and knowledge.
Because people would say like, oh, my one boob is bigger than is that normal? Just like basic things that you were too embarrassed to ask a friend, a mother. Like Dolly Doctor was the place to go.
Yeah.
And so I can't believe I had never researched who this icon was. But yeah, she used to talk about all types of sexual health. And then I did a bit of deep digging in it. She says she started this because she had a conservative upbringing, and it really shaped how she wanted to address sexual health, particularly around young women who are trying to figure out, who am I? I'm being objectified since I was young. Like what feels good for me? And so she really reflects on her journey about how you go from being a GP, that's all about community health, to being Dolly Doctor, where she helped thousands, and I'm pretty sure hundreds of thousands of young women navigate the anxieties of puberty, especially around what is normal. And so, yeah, I want to shout out to her. She was like so formative for me growing up. It was like, I remember secretly, because I couldn't buy it at home because I come from a conservative family, that in the library, I would just be reading this and kind of going, oh my God, I have the same concern.
What a rite of passage. Yeah. That's so cool. And like you said, I feel like this is also science comms, which is your passion.
Oh my God.
Right?
Oh, you're blowing my mind.
Yeah, Dolly Doctor is doing psychoms. And the other thing that I love about this story is that my impression of Dolly magazine is very like white Anglo, like, you know, Anglo-Australian girls. But for Dolly Doctor to actually be someone of, is it Asian descent? From the name,
I think she might be a person of color, but I'm not sure if she is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do a quick Google. Do a quick Google when
sometimes there is an image, and then does that image reflect?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's very cool. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that. For my breaking stereotype, I want to take the time to honor my queen, my hero, Whitney Wolfe Herd. So Whitney founded Bumble in 2014, and when she was just 26. Can you believe it?
No, that makes me feel
crazy.
Bad. No,
and this is after she had co-founded Tinder with a bunch of men at like 24 or when she was 23, which is insanely young. So the backstory was that she was one of the co-founders of Tinder, but she left a few years later because of sexual harassment, bullying, and just like generally poor workplace culture. She went on to found this competitor that is Bumble, that has a feminist twist where women are in control. And personally, I've had the most luck on Bumble. So
go girl.
Whitney, thank you for that. And I think it could be because it has weeded out a lot of misogynistic men who just wouldn't choose to be on Bumble in the first place because it's where women had more control.
And it's my understanding that in Bumble, women had to make the first move.
Yes, so that's what I meant by women have to make like the first move. I
think it's empowering, right?
It is empowering.
To be like, I would like to talk to you.
And it's so like revolutionary 10 years ago.
100%.
So while online dating still is a dumpster fire for all of the reasons that we spoke about earlier, I think that what she's done is incredible, and she's made a huge fortune. This year, Bumble was valued at 13 billion US dollars. So
I cannot fathom the billion.
It's insane. But go female tech entrepreneur.
That we can all get behind. In our next segment that we're calling Bold or Silly, Belle and I were going to share 2 stories from around the world that will hopefully bring a smile to your face. Either of us do not know what we're bringing to the table. So,
well, before we dive into today's stories, I just wanted to hark back to our last episode and say, Shaz, you're incredible. You were on the pulse with Mudang. Right after, well, you brought that to my attention in this segment last time, and I was like, Hippo? Who cared about Hippo? Secretly inside. But I was like, okay, have trust in Shaz. And you were right, because right after that, it blew up all over the internet. So thanks for bringing that.
Sparked something inside me, and I knew it was true love.
You had the instinct. You were on the pulse.
So for my story, bit of a, we're talking about the dumpster fire that is global politics at the moment.
Yes.
One dumpster fire to another dumpster fire, of course. But a bit of an interesting take. We've kind of touched on this before. There are 2 astronauts, Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams, who are stuck on an international space station. They were already meant to go for, I believe, like 6 days, but it's been months.
So stressful.
Oh my God. I can't believe it's not a bigger story.
People are just like, oh yeah, these people are stuck in space.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And they're actually planning on coming back in February 2025. However, they're American citizens and they have the ability to vote.
Yes,
and they
of course.
would like to vote. So the upcoming election, which is happening November 6th,
oh my God, I'm obsessed with this.
Yes, they need to figure out a way to vote, right? And so turns out there's actually been something in place since 1997.
No.
Since
What?
1997. So you've got a secure electronic absentee ballot system that will be provided by officials back in Houston, Texas. So back on Earth. And these astronauts are going to receive a PDF form that they fill out in space and send it back to be processed on Earth. It has been like, can you believe that this has been an option since 1997?
I can't believe it, but this is incredible.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, voting is important.
100% voting is important. I think being Australian, voting is like something that
mandatory.
Yeah, it's mandatory. We've always taken it for granted. You turn 18, you buy a hot dog.
It's a snack.
Yeah, a snag. You buy it, you eat it, you vote. So it's very fascinating for me to understand that it's not compulsory.
Yes.
And so the lengths that you go to for people to ensure that if you want to vote, you have the right for your vote to be heard. Yeah, incredible. I love the science, I love the tech, and I love that it's a bit wacky and out of space.
Yeah, totally. Oh, that's very cool. Well, for my first story, 2 little animals, in addition to Mudang, have taken the internet by storm recently. Well, even though I say 2 little, one of them is huge.
I think I know where the story is going, but tell me more, Belle.
I'm so proud because I was feeling a little bit like, Mudang is so cute. Do we have something like that? Yes, we do. At the Melbourne Aquarium, we have our very own celebrity, Pesto, the penguin. Have you seen the photos?
Oh my God.
It's so cuddly.
Pesto is a giant.
Pesto.
I love how you went with
is
cuddly,
a
but
giant.
Pesto is
It's
ginormous.
It's so funny. And Pesto has a Wikipedia page. Oh gosh, he's so adorable. So Pesto was hatched. Pesto was born this year. He was hatched in January 2024. So Pesto is about 9-10 months old. And well, his biological father is Blake, which is a king penguin living at the aquarium. But the keepers decided to have 2 younger penguins, raise Pesto as foster parents. And Pesto is bigger and heavier than both the foster parents combined, which is so funny. You just see this little big, huge huge furry penguin and was standing behind two smaller adult penguins, which is so funny.
It reminds me of the
Oh.
song, I need a big boy, the SNL song, Big Boy.
Sing it.
I will put it in. I'll put it in. It's like, I need a big boy. Yeah, okay.
Pesto is a big boy. But it's so funny. So he's attracted a lot of attention. I saw a picture of people lining up outside to go and see him. And Sea Life Melbourne attributed his large size to genetics because Blake, his father, is the largest penguin at the aquarium. Oh, it's just so cute. I love these animals that has brought so much happiness and joy.
I think before, I feel like the world was divided. Mudang has brought the world together, and I feel
And
like
Pesto.
Pesto's brought Australia together.
Totally. Totally.
I love that. Thank you for bringing that. Pesto has my heart. For my one, I'm a conspiracy nut. I am. I have been reading multiple articles about this. So
Okay,
the World Conker Champions, I think I'm saying it
What is
right.
conker?
It's a chestnut, and then the whole point is you're meant to break it. So,
Oh.
so like imagine marbles, but like with.
Okay, there's a championship for conker.
Yes, there is. I heard that. Turn.
Okay, remove that snark from
Exactly. All sass.
It's like horsing around. Remember when you brought another sport? That's what is it called? Horsing? What is it?
Hobby horsing.
Hobby horse.
It also has world champions spell.
Okay, chef.
Okay. Roasted here. However, in this case, there has been intense allegations of cheating after this year's men's winner, who is 82-year-old Def Jenkins, was found with a steel chestnut.
Dun, dun, dun.
Exactly. And so he won the final after his opponent's conker shattered in one hit. And they think it's because he used the steel chestnut. He denies all claims. And so the way they do it is that they have supervisors watching it. And so the elected officials are saying, like the judges are saying, like, it's very unlikely this would have happened because we would have seen it. However, he was found with a steel chestnut in his pocket.
Oh no.
So the conspiracy is still ongoing. Like, did he use it? Did he hide it? How did he? But
did he win the championship?
He won it. And so it is a bit of a it's an issue. It's unfolding. So it's a bit of a wait and watch.
Okay. So it's a little bit like the breakdancing. Okay, let's not go to that.
Did you appreciate sports?
From one conspiracy to another conspiracy theory. Gosh, these elite sports people.
I know. The things that you will do, the lengths you will go to win.
Indeed. Oh, okay. Switching gear to my second story, which is a really tragic and sad one. So the news broke Thursday morning here in Australia that Liam Payne, the British singer who rose to stardom with boy band One Direction, has died aged 31 after falling from a third-story balcony in Buenos Aires. And One Direction was absolutely one of the biggest boy bands in our lifetime. And we are, I think, smack bang in the middle of the demographic for their fandom. It was huge. They were absolutely huge when I was growing up. And the band went off on a hiatus in 2016. And in the last 5 years, Liam Payne has spoken quite openly about his mental health and addiction struggles and the difficulty that he was finding living with this level of fame. He also had some troubling moments in the public eye and allegations from former partners near the time of his death. And it's just a really tragic story all around. I think it came as a shock to everyone.
I think we're very used to like rock stars living like a rock star lifestyle. And, I think what was so unexpected is that we grew up with 1D.
Yeah.
And we're at similar ages and we still feel so young and we have so much left to do.
And my impression of them was still like boys. They were, that was the impression. So it's just such a huge shock.
I initially thought it was fake news when it popped because I was just like, 31, no. But
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Like it really stopped me at my tracks. And he had been in kind of like circulating on social media and TikTok recently. That is in a lighthearted way. So I didn't know that there was like a deeper challenges and struggles that he was going through. So yeah, it was just like really, really shocking. And I think what made it really sad was that he'd spoken about turning his life around this time last year, coming out of rehab, and March this year he released a new single, signaling a return with his second album. And it just, I think, left a really huge gaping hole in a lot of people's hearts that this promise now we know that couldn't come true. And he was survived by his parents, siblings, and a 7-year-old son, Bear. So it's, yeah, absolutely would be a really hard time for people who know him.
Yeah, tragic story. And thank you for bringing, yeah, you're right that it's flawed, right? Like there's never a perfect
Response
to it,
something
right? Like,
this.
do you talk about the addiction? Do you talk about the mental health? Do you talk about the allegations from the
It's
partner?
complex.
It's complex, but
All of those are true at
Yeah.
the same time.
and you can still feel sad.
Yeah.
Thank you. Back up, right?
Yes, we'll finish the episode with some lighthearted chats, debates, arguments.
End of world, like we are gonna stake a claim, Mel.
Yes. Okay.
All right, I'm
Shaz.
gonna go get our paddles.
Yes, go get our paddles. And while Shaz is doing that, part 4 is calling BS or stand by it. So the both of us are gonna bring 10 topics, and we invite our audience and listeners to judge whether you're calling BS or you stand by them. So Shaz, kick us off.
All right, girl. This has been, I feel like this episode has almost been produced, sponsored by Nobody Wants This.
They should pay us.
They absolutely should. So, do you stand by it or are you calling BS? Oh,
I'm in the middle for the reasons that I have explained. It's so fun, like it's a fun show to watch, but I'm just like, where do I find Adam Brody? If you can't find me an Adam Brody in real life, I'm calling BS.
Oh,
You have your Adam Brody, so at home. So this is why
he's on a different level though. I love all the memes that say 14-year-old me loved Adam Brody and now 34-year-old me loves.
True.
All right. What about you, Belle?
Life changes by Adam Brody's forever. Okay, the second thing is run club. So all of my friends have been getting into run clubs, and all of them have like met their partners there, and they've been encouraging me to join run club. But for me, there's just one flaw of this plan. What is that? You have to run.
Look, I'm all about first impressions, fake it till you make it. But like, imagine running like, I'd be like, wait, people.
I cannot imagine anyone will be attracted to me when I'm running. Like I look like a sick dog.
Or like, what if they think that this is the lifestyle you live, right?
I know.
It's like, babe, no.
False advertising.
Exactly.
Look, I think that run club is a no for me, but going back to what we were talking about earlier, maybe it's a good way for young people or anyone to meet people in real life that is outside of online dating. So
if you called it
good for you, not for me.
If you called it brunch club, I'm all in.
Brunch club. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Let's make brunch club happen.
All right. Still on the topic of dating. I saw this on TikTok.
Okay, just a heads up, all 10 are related to dating today. So
hey, that's the name of the game, Mel.
Indeed.
And this is something that I have even verified with my Spanish amigos. All right. So there was a TikTok trend that talked about Mercadona is the Spanish version of Coles or Woolies. And so everyone in Spain, they were using pineapples to say whether they were single or not. So the whole point is that between 7 to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
you would go into Mercadona, which is your version of Coles or
We should bring
Woolies.
this to Coles.
Yeah, and then you would take a cart and you would put your pineapple upside down. It meant that you were
Okay.
single. So you're like, you know, just doing your shopping. And if someone saw you and they liked you, they'd give you a little bump. And
A
then
little
that,
come on the trolley.
exactly. And that was your meet cute.
That's so
all right?
funny. I have to say it's brilliant marketing from this,
To
whatever
the
it's called.
point,
What is it called? again?
Mercadona.
Mercadona.
To the point where they were running out of pineapples. Then you had like different things. You were like, if it was an almond milk, it meant something. But the whole idea was like, I think people are so desperate to have meet cutes and meet people in a different setting that,
That.
7 to 8 p.m. upside down pineapples in shopping trolleys.
All right, I will
You heard
be
it here
there.
first.
I'll be there at our local St. Kilda Coles with my pineapple upside down.
Do you stand by this?
Come find me. All right. My next one is about giving out your number versus Instagram. So, okay, I have been asked a few times when I kind of match with people online and they're like, what's your Instagram? And I'm always so reticent in sharing my Instagram. Tell me what you think.
I 100% agree, but I've spoken to people younger than us
Mhm.
and they're like, I'm sorry, you want me to give out my number? What a private thing. I'm like, it's a number. You
It's-
could block them.
I know.
But they're like, but they much prefer to hand out their Instagram. And I'm like,
But Instagram is so much more personal. It has my life on there.
exactly. It has your pictures, it has your personalities, your likes, your
Oh.
dislikes. But no, young people, they're like, the minute someone asks me for my number, guard up. They're like, that's a big no-no.
Oh no.
So yeah, I think this is I think Gen Z is all about Insta,
Instagram.
and I think our generation is all about phone numbers. I've done my research.
Okay. Well, at least no one's asking me for Snapchat. That they'll be blocked.
You're like,
immediately.
grow up. Please come to me when you're 46, not 36.
Oh,
So what do you think? Handing out your number. So you still do numbers?
I do numbers.
You do numbers.
Yeah, I'm a certified millennial. Oh well, standing by it.
I do what you got to do, but like, yeah, do what you got to do.
Do what you gotta do.
All
Shaz,
right.
what's the next one? Oh,
My
this is
next one
spicy.
is ghosting. And you know what? I actually think I'm pro ghosting.
I am a ghoster.
Well, look at me. I thought you were perfect. So you are a ghoster. All right. I found it
Unfortunately,
for everyone.
yeah, shattering the image. Okay, so I'm very conflict averse, and I like to think that I'm an empath. That's my excuse.
You're such an empath that instead of explaining the situation,
Instead
you just
of communications, I just disappear. Let them think that maybe I moved to Switzerland.
do you trail it off or do you just
I like to think that I subtly trail it off, but maybe it's so subtle that people might not know. Case in point. Well, Rachel is in a room here, but she knows that there is someone that I've ghosted like many times and he still comes back to like text me and stuff. So maybe my ghosting hasn't been very successful. And
okay?
maybe I need an intervention. And oh my God, so I told my friends this about 2 weeks ago, and she sent me a perfectly crafted message that I'm
Okay,
gonna
read
find
it
the
out.
message.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
you tell me your take on ghosting, and I will read this out as a
I was
PSA.
a yes on ghosting, but hearing you ghosting has changed me to a calling BS. Because I believe in like trailing off. Like I'm not gonna, because what doesn't work for me might work for someone else. So I don't want to be like, I don't like XYZ, but I might just be like, oh, it would trail off. I
Yeah.
wouldn't disappear and move to Switzerland. So
Sorry. Okay, I found this. So my friend crafted this and she sent it to me. So maybe I need to kick this bad habit.
all right.
Okay. If you receive this, you'll know that you're being ghosted. Hi, it was really nice meeting you, but unfortunately, I didn't feel a romantic spark between us. Hope you find what you're looking for. Smiley face. That's elegant.
That's really nice. I
That's-
like that.
That is someone who knows how to communicate.
Yeah.
So
That's a good one. Yeah, okay.
Helpful.
Next episode is Belle's intervention.
Okay.
Right.
So the next one that I have is going back to modern dating. What do you feel about having first dates at someone's house?
Just
Ding, ding,
no.
ding,
Who
ding.
is going to someone's house? Is that a thing? Are people inviting people over?
Don't you think that this is happening a lot during COVID? Because you can't go anywhere else. So you either go to a park or you go to someone's house, even though it's illegal at that time during
but you
lockdown.
would go to a park. What if they're a serial killer? Guys, I think we need a whole intervention for today's generation. Serial killers, murderers, jumps. Like, no, just people's house.
Yeah,
I'm shocked.
for me, it's also a bit of a no, because you expose so much. Like, I would be terrified if people want to come to my house, because my house is eternally messy and dirty, and I have a puppy Billy who doesn't like strangers coming to our house. So
Yeah,
I think it's a no for
I think
me.
it just, yeah, it's like if I won't give you my Instagram, I'm not gonna get you into my house.
Yeah. True.
No, that's a big no.
True.
My next one is a one that I'm quite passionate about. Icks.
Same.
Can you come back from it? And I used to be no, but now being married, and you gotta get over it. Because guys, let me tell you something about marriage. You sign a piece of paper and people are like, things don't change. Things change because getting divorced is very difficult.
The agreement, the agreement, basically, there is a terms that says that you are there for in sickness and health and in all of your icks.
Yeah, my partner is a bit of a germaphobe, so we isolate from each other. So like that gives me the ick. But it's just getting married is signing the paper on signing on one paper. Getting divorced is signing on multiple papers. Okay, so I have changed my opinion. You can come back from an ick, and in fact, you got to come back from an ick. You got to turn that ick into your yum.
Oof, turning icks into yums. That's
marriage life.
That seems like a really tall order.
So
I
you
have to say it's a no. I don't think so. I just have not ever come back from an ick. An ick is forever, in my experience.
But like, what's going to give you the ick? Give me an example.
Okay, I have this one. Oh, I feel so bad. I hope that he never finds out that I have a podcast.
I'm going to send it to him. So keep going.
So this poor boy, I suggested that we go to this place, a Spanish tapas place. Yeah. It's so lovely, you know, cute date spot. And I ordered this little tapas that you're supposed to eat with it's really elegant. Like, it's this small thing and it's so yummy. You're supposed to eat with your hand. And he just like used knife and fork. And when he tried to, in this tiny little, it just like broke and crumbled. And I was just like, I just got the biggest ick. You can't explain ick. You can't explain ick. It's like germs. You catch it and it stays with you. And you just have to move to Switzerland and coast. So that happens.
Would be
that poor boy.
That poor boy.
Okay.
At least now he's got closure. That's going to count for something.
Please don't listen to this. The next one is staying friends with your ex. Do you maintain friendships with your ex partners?
I'm a dead and gone type of person.
Yeah.
But I haven't, yeah, I'm definitely, do I know you?
Yeah, have we met before?
Gosh, you look, yeah, I haven't seen you around at all.
So yeah, I it's a no for me. I think it's a no for me.
Yeah, I'm not that mature. Sorry.
Yeah, and also but I get it. It's hard to make friends sometimes when you're an adult and you just have to hang on to people who you have met. And if you have dated before,
if they're skinny naked, that's a friendship I could live without.
Okay, true. All right, we're a no.
All right, my last one. And this is a rom-com troupe, and I love trashy rom-coms. So
Same.
who was growing up, you would have had like, that one friend that didn't necessarily, there was something there, but you value that friendship, but you kind of had that pact that when you turn 30, and I know we changed to 40 because
We
30
have to
is
change it to 40 because 30 is too soon.
but it was when you turn 30, you're going to marry that person. Did you
Yeah.
ever have that type of pact?
Well, not like explicitly, but I feel like there is kind of like a boy where that like we had that kind of relationship
Yeah.
or friendship.
I think I'm married, but exposing myself too much here.
But there still is someone.
I was about to say,
I hope Chivo is not listening to this episode.
but it's just someone that it's a friendship, but it's not necessarily a flirty. It doesn't cross any boundaries.
Yes,
it's like
it's so true. It's actually really cute.
Yeah,
I'm
like
so
this-
into it.
like it's like I know you have my back, I have your back,
Yes.
but it's
Yes.
not. It's completely platonic, but there's a vibe. Yeah,
Yes.
so like that's what I'm saying.
It's so defined. It's
Yeah.
so specific.
Yeah, and we don't have to catch up. We're not catching we'll maybe like 3
No.
years without seeing
It's
each
just
other.
when we are both desperate at 40 and we've lost all hope in modern dating life,
Ding 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 ding.
maybe we'll get married and have companionship.
Exactly.
And
Ding ding.
what I love about this relationship as well, is the sense of being like have known each other for a long time. You know who I am, you know where I come from, you
Yeah.
know all parts of me, and you still like love me as a friend.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Like I don't want to see you naked, but
Not
I
really.
will marry you.
but I will marry you. I don't get how it works, but
That's
it
what
works.
marriage is.
I hope that marriages are like
I
that.
hope my partner does not listen to this. Just these parts. We'll edit it out when we send it to him.
There's a general version, there's a Chimo version, and there's a version that
Goes to
that
all your
comes out-
the people that
that
you've
kind of
ghosted.
all of the days that I All right.
Your last one.
Our final calling BS or stand by it. Oof. This is harking back to the gender roles.
Yeah.
I have actually heard a lot of women who are kind of strong and independent and are financially independent who still think that men should pay on the first date.
I'm a big
I'm a big, say no.
and maybe I'm a bit of an asshole, but when I was dating,
Yeah.
one of the things that I wanted to not check, but it was like a vibe check, is that we would go out for coffee and I would pay.
Yeah.
Just to see
smart.
how they would react. There was one person that I was vibing like really well with, and I was like, oh, you're kind of cute, I'm feeling it. And he made such a scene at this was at like at Crepes, Crepes, the Uni-Mel place.
Yeah.
Made such a scene of like, oh my God, I'm the man, I'll pay. And I was just like, that gave me the ick. And the lady was like, we were there for like a couple of minutes arguing. And and she was like, oh, she can pay, that's fine. But I didn't
That's so smart. That is so smart because it shows what he thinks about the role of men and women. Like it's just like it's a small thing that's symptomatic of that.
And it's like it's 3 people. Okay, now coffee is about $7.
Yes.
So like, hey,
So maybe men should pay.
yeah, like hey. But I think about it and I have these conversations. But for me, it was like, I'm gonna bring you into my life.
Yeah.
Are you gonna
see me as an equal?
Yeah.
That's the
or like I'll treat you like that's fine.
Yeah.
It's coffee. We can I can handle this. But the fact that he couldn't handle it made me go, this relationship.
That's so smart. I should start doing that actually.
It's dinner and drinks, and then very much. Cost of living is hitting, and if they would like to pay for a yacht, I've chosen wrong. I've completely switched. That was when I was young and a feminist. I've completely switched.
Okay, so anything under $10, anything over. No, that is so true. Although, have you seen the new? So also another story that involves Rachel. So Rachel and I went to see Ali Wong a few months ago when she came here to Palais Theatre, and she told a joke about how she expects men to pay on the first date, and we're like, oh, where's this going? And she was like, well, this is crazy because I am a millionaire. And I was like, okay. And she's like, well, the joke was that she said, I want to know that he knows basic investment strategy because if he pays for this first day, I could buy him a condo, which is
You know what? I'm back on.
okay. Maybe Ali Wong has a point, which was funny.
Do you split the bill? I think splitting
Yes.
is, oh no, I don't like that.
Oh, yeah, I like splitting the bill. If I'm gonna ghost this person later, because I don't want to owe you anything. I don't want you to think back about this chick that, I don't want to owe anything to you, and I don't want you to owe me anything. Let's split the bill and then ta-ta.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't like splitting the bill.
All right, agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree. That's the name of the game.
I know. And with that, we have come to the end of today's episode of Calling BS with Belle and Shaz.
A big thank you to all our listeners for tagging along on this massively wild ride. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to hit subscribe, drop us a review, spread the word, send it to your friends. We would really appreciate new listeners.
I want to hear all of your stories as well. Please come to us
into our DMs
with that. Until next time, remember,
don't just accept the BS,
call it out.